You are listening to the We Are Cousins podcast, a podcast that focuses in South Texas and northeastern Mexico genealogy.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the We Are Cousins podcast. And once again, thank you for listening. And if you haven't registered with YouTube to get notifications when I upload a new episode, go ahead and do so down below. If you're listening from a podcast application, make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you could get notifications every time that we upload one. And me and Wellester Alvarado have been trying to do one per month. So hopefully we continue doing them. And for this particular episode, we're just going to talk about the upcoming We Are Cousins conference, which is the 6th one, and it's going to be taking place September 21st through the 22nd. It's going to be only 2 days. And let Wellester introduce himself before we get into the website.
How do you do? My name is Wellester G for Gerardo Gerard Alvarado Carrillo. I moved from LA, California to beautiful downtown Monterrey, Mexico, a little over 20 years ago to stay 1 year and do my genealogy, my family tree. And just fell into some lucky things, and I got married to a regia. And so I've been here ever since, believe it or not. And in 2014, I was the president of the Sociedad de Genealogy del Estado de Nuevo León. And as of 4 years ago, I was and am still a member of the historians and the chronological Academy of Nuevo León, and honorary historian and chronologista of Monterrey. So anyway, and I'm living here in beautiful Monterrey with still doing my family tree, helping where I can. Moises has, thank God, he's been my guardian angel in this adventure of mine. I don't know, I forgot how many years ago we started, but it's been quite a few. And through him, I've met a lot of really good people that you're going to meet, also that we're going to talk about in about the conference. And without any further ado, I'd like to get started because there's a lot of information that you can all can use. No matter how many conferences are out there for genealogy, no one is narrowed and deep into the genealogy world, and it's personal because here we are looking at you face to face. The other ones, you have to go to a conference. There's nothing wrong with them, but you have to break your time and to go see one speaker and lose another one. And so here you have it right here right on your lap. So it's got that advantage. So we can get started.
And I want to mention also, Wellester is a valued member of the We Are Cousins community, and he's also a lifetime member of Las Vías del Norte for his contributions to northeastern Mexican genealogy. And with nothing else, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so this is my screen, and this is for the conference that's going to be taking place. We Are Cousins is a sponsor of it. 6th We Are Cousins Virtual Genealogy Conference is going to be taking place September 21st through the 22nd. It's only 2 days. This year we decided to do, instead of doing 3 days, just 2 days. Due to, I guess, the economy. We did notice, when we started preparing for this conference, the gas prices went up, the food prices went up. So we wanted to reduce the price of attendance so more people can experience the conference that we have each year, or every 6 months. And hopefully starting next year, we're going to do it. We're going to go back to once a year only, but that one's going to be a full-blown conference with probably from 15 to 20 speakers, over 24 presentations. So that's going to be a big one for September 2024. But let's talk about this one that's going to be taking place actually next month. And I'm going to be talking about the presenters, the price to attend, and some of the benefits that you get for attending. So all you need to do to learn more about the conference or to register register for it, just go to wacconference.com and you're going to be able to get all the information there. Or you could go to wearecousins.info and click on the menu where it says conference, and it'll take you to the conference website. So once you get to the conference website, you're going to see this homepage. And all you do is just scroll down. If you already made up your mind and you want to attend, you could just click the green button that you see there. If not, you could just scroll down, read some of our copy and some of the benefits that you're going to get for attending. And right now we have the the regular registration price of $74.95. But on September the 1st, the late registration fee is going to start and it's going to be $99.95. And we do this time frames and price tiers to try and, gather as much money as we can before the conference, so we're able to pay our presenters before the conference. So that's the main reason that we do that. And then if you scroll down, you're going to be able to see how it works. You register for the conference. The recordings each presentation is going to be about 45 minutes. And we try and have the speakers at the end of each presentation to answer questions, or during the presentation, you could ask your questions on the chat and either the community or the presenter will answer your questions. And all you have to do is log in on September the 21st to be able to start watching the conference. Once you log in, you're going to see your dashboard. You just click on day one and you're going to see a live stream of the conference. Or if, let's say, you can't figure out how to log into the website, or if you lose your username and password, don't worry. The day prior or early that morning, at least 1 hour prior to the conference starting, we're going to email everybody a unique link where you're going to be able to just click it and it'll open your Zoom app and you can watch through Zoom. You don't even have to worry about logging into the website. And that's it. It's very easy to attend and it's very convenient. And guess what? You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on travel, on lodging and food. You could just attend virtually from anywhere in the world, as long as you log in or as long as you get the link or click on the link to watch through Zoom. And Zoom is just amazing. It has a chat feature where you're able to network with other people that are attending.
You're absolutely right about that. The convenience of being able to see all of the people in a conference, it's fantastic, because as much as I love going to a convention and walking around and the energy and all the people and stuff and the hot dogs and stuff, you schedule yourself to see what you want to see, but you miss out on others because they're at the same time. And here, as you mentioned, anywhere in the world, you're going to be able to see all the people that you need to see or want to see, and some that you may never even thought of, and there they are.
Yeah, and that one of the main reasons that I created this conference years ago, well, first of all, it was because of COVID, right? But then I started getting a lot of emails thanking me for making this conference, because there's young people that have to work or have kids. There's grandparents that are taking care of their kids or helping their grandkids, or are helping their children, picking up their grandkids from school or dropping them off, so they can't travel. So that's Weird Cousins members that we're targeting or trying to get to attend our conference. People that can't really travel to a live conference. And people have asked me, are you going to continue doing them virtually even though COVID is gone? I'm like, absolutely yes, because there's a need for it. Not everybody could go to a live event. So that's the reason that I'm so focused on keeping this conference alive. And I've told all the attendees in the past, I'm going to be doing it as long as there's interest for it, as long as there's a need for it.
Yeah, there is a need. It's a niche. It's a niche because you're filling a gap for the rest of the year when there isn't a conference going on. And you're giving the people, as they say, the meat and potatoes of what the genealogy world is.
And something that's also great, let's say, even if you cannot attend the live stream, we got you covered. You're starting on September the 24th, September the 23rd, you're going to be able to watch the replays of the presentation. So even if you missed a presentation or two because something came up or you had an emergency, it's not like a live event. You miss out. No, here we record them and make them accessible to you for over 60 days after the conference so you could watch them at your own pace. But the only thing I recommend, make the time to watch them, because what's the point of signing up and then not even attending or not even watching the recordings?
Yeah, get the
And in that case,
interaction with the actual speaker and the event.
yeah, and my favorite part of attending the conference is just the networking that we do on the chat box.
That's right.
It's just it's just awesome, and I'm there all the time, like talking and putting my insights and listening to what other members are typing or putting, because we have experts of all or attendees of all levels. So there may be a beginner 101 to genealogy question, but then there may be a very advanced ones, and the same community helps each other out. So now let's talk about our speakers. Our keynote speaker is going to be Cindy Medina. And if you know Cindy Medina, she has this huge group about Mexican and Spanish heritage on Facebook. And she's going to be presenting her presentation is titled Grandpa Rode with Pancho Villa. And
that's good.
We already recorded that presentation. It's about an hour and 20 minutes long. And
wow.
I was glued to it. Like I couldn't get up. Like, it's very interesting. So I highly recommend. Oh, and the keynote is going to be September the 20th at 7 p.m. And, I tell people the conference is only the 21st and 22nd, but this is a bonus that members get. I'll probably say some opening remarks, talk about my own research, what I'm doing to help the community out. And then we'll have Cindy introduce herself, and then she'll do this presentation about Pancho Villa. And then for the first day, which is September the 21st, we're going to have Leanne Kruger, and her presentation's title is The Whys, Hows, and Whereofs of a Surname Study. And also very interested. It's a very interesting presentation. If you're very interested in doing a surname study but don't know how, this is a presentation to watch. Then we're going to have John P. Small talk about the Tlaxcalans of Northeast Mexico. Also very interesting presentation based on research. It's not micro research focusing on a specific little area, but it's the grander picture. So it's a very interesting. Then we're going to have Leslie Carney talk about landholders, missions, presidios, ranches to land grants. Her presentation is also very interesting, and she'll talk about California land grants, New Mexico land grants, and South Texas land grants, and where to find more information about each of those regions. So it's going to be a very good presentation. Now we're going to have also Lisa Medina, and she's going to be talking about hemerotecas in Mexico, which is basically newspaper archives in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And how to access them online, or how to contact people in those archives to be able to find more information about your ancestors.
Excellent.
And then we're going to have Penny Walters, and she's going to be talking about provide an introduction to forensic genetic genealogy. And then we're going to have Lori Castillo talk about lesser known census records, non-population schedules. You know how we always focus on the 1910, 1920, 1930 census, which is going to talk about other censuses that have been done that are not highly known. And I'm providing just the name and the title of the presentation. But if you're interested in learning more, just go to wacconference.com and click on speakers, and you're going to be able to read more biography of each speaker. Or if you click on the view schedule, once you click on the view speaker, it'll take you and give you a summary of the presentation they'll be doing for the conference. So what do you think about the first day, Willister?
You know what, the profile of each one of them is unbelievable. There's a lot of information, as I mentioned earlier, and you mentioned just now, that things that you didn't even think about that could be very useful, like Laurie and Leanne. I mean, There's so much Shmal, the Tlaxcaltecas that came here to Monterey, um, Bustamante, Guadalupe. They're heavily entrenched here, and they came from Saltillo. Also, we share a lot of common bonds between Coahuila and Nuevo León. And anyway, these people are so full of information, and this goes back to the thing that I think is so great about you doing the Zoom is that you can chat with these folks. They're at the moment that they're speaking, and if they can't answer, you have the answer, and you answer. I've seen you do that a lot because you know so much about them. So that's like a major plus on your conference, and the caliber of people that you're exposing here to everybody is unbelievable. It's great.
And you know something, Willister, each presenter, either at the beginning or at the end of their presentation, they provide their personal email where you could actually contact them.
Yes.
And even if they don't provide it, you could just go to the member directory of who's attending this conference, and you could send them a private message through our system on the conference.
Exactly.
You know, which I think it's great. And now let's talk about the second day. For the second day, we have Jose Ruben Riojas, and he's going to talk about El Día de Muertos, origin, meaning, and significance. And it's a very interesting presentation. And then we're going to have Joy Oria talk about Mexican-American mutual aid societies. And it's her presentation, it's what she talks about. I had not even thought about it. And it's another opportunity to be able to find more family history.
More networking,
more of
right?
Our ancestors.
It's more networking.
It's more about networking. And then we're going to have Ryan Jordan. And he's going to talk about where to start, beginning tips for researching Mexican families. So this is great for those of you that are new to genealogy or have trouble, reading the documents. He provides a lot of great tips about how to do that.
And it's not just for beginners. It's people who have been in it for a long time and they've been struggling and still don't have any idea on how they can do it exactly the right way. And he's here. Ryan is showing you how to avoid those obstacles that are going to hold you back.
And Ryan is a great presenter, and on our archives, which if you buy you could buy a pass to attend the conference, right? Or you could buy a pass plus the archives, and you get access to all past recordings for the past 5 conferences, and with that pass, you're gonna be able to watch those presentations from the 23rd of September all the way to November the 30th.
Excellent.
So that's 60 days to watch every possible presentation. And none of the presenters repeat their presentations. They're all fresh. And then we're going to have Jean Wilcox-Given, and she's going to be talking about researching as we age, ways to reboot the brain. And her presentation, it's something else because she provides tips on how to maintain a savvy brain as we age. And, that's something that's inevitable. And even her tips, even if they're not for genealogy, they'll be useful to you in your everyday life. And then we're going to have Wesley Johnston, who's no stranger to our conference. He's been attending for the past 5 conferences. And his presentation is called Reconstructing Mama Pepa's DNA.
That's good.
And that presentation, it's very good. And Wesley is one of the pioneers, even though you may not hear his name, he's one of the pioneers in DNA research out there.
Wow.
And even the big DNA companies have been utilizing his research to better hone or their algorithms on how to do matching and reconstruct also DNA.
That's excellent.
And then finally, we're going to have Eleanor Briscoe, and she's going to talk about our black sheep and their prison records.
Oh.
So, every family has one.
Everybody has one.
And, those are going to be our presentations for this year. They're only going to be, let me see, they're 12. And plus our keynote speakers, that's going to be 13 presentations in total. But like I
That's
mentioned before, this is not a full-blown conference like we've done in the past, and it was done just so we could basically cut the price of the conference by half.
but it's a wealth of information, or a plethora of information that is at their fingertips. And as you mentioned, even if by some chance they didn't get to see one of the speakers that they wanted to, they have 60 days afterwards that they can still see it. That's great.
And that's what's amazing. Now, you've gone to live conferences. I've gone to live conference. I love attending in person.
Me too.
It's a different atmosphere because you get to, I guess, drink some cold ones with other attendees at the end of the day.
And it's a
But
different aspect, because all of a sudden what they talked about gets filled with all the extra goodies about it. And that's your personal contact with that person.
yeah, but the only problem about attending in person, they give you usually like 2 or 3 options per hour to watch a presentation, but then some of them are not replayed, and most of the time none of them are recorded. That's the only thing. You're gonna miss out on a lot of material. And the difference about our conference, that everything is there for you. All you have to do is log in and make the time to attend, and make the time to rewatch those presentations that you want to learn more
And
from.
make that connection. So that you can talk to them afterwards. Like you mentioned, the email, or even a phone. Sometimes a phone number is there, and you can contact, and you make a new contact and a new friend. I mean, this is actually excellent.
And most of the speakers are professional genealogists. So if you like what they're presenting on, and you have a genealogical problem related to that, you could even hire them to do research for you.
That's right.
So now, for those of you watching the YouTube video, I'm going to show you the schedule. If you go to the website, just click on the view schedule. And once again, the website is wacconference.com or weircousins.info, and then click on the conference tab. But this is the schedule, so it's very simple. And here, if you click on the outer name next to the title of the presentation, you're going to be able to learn more about the presenter and be able to read a summary of what the presentation is going to be about. For example, our keynote speaker, she says, I will speak about the enthusiasm about those who have ties to Pancho Villa. He's an individual who is either loved or despised, but equally makes him as popular as 100 years ago. And that she's the vice president of the foundation representing Pancho Villa.
Wow.
And she will discuss his family tree, origins, and etc.
That's exciting.
And then if you want, another thing that I've done I did this past 2 conferences. I didn't even promote it, but now this time we added it to our website. We removed the vendor area, and now we put 20% off books. So, as you know, Lester, I have over 55 books that I've written about for South Texas and Northeastern Mexico genealogical research.
Right, jam-packed with information, useful information.
And the latest book that I published was the Monterrey Church Death Index from 1668 to 1794. And the reason I published them was because Family Search hasn't indexed them, and I couldn't find anybody else that had indexed them so far and made it available to us, the researchers. But during the conference, only from September the 20th through the 24th, whoever signs up to attend the conference, before the conference and during the conference, on the emails that they get, they're going to get a coupon code for 20% off every single book that I've published. So once you sign in during those days, if you come to the 20% off tab, this is going to change, and the coupon code is actually going to be here also, and the link to the store where you're going to be able to buy any of my books for 20% off. Okay, you have to go to the link to see the books? Yes, once you click on the link, you're going to get there are over 60 some books that are there that you're going to be able to get a 20% off from. Wow. And if you buy, I think if it's more than $100, you get free shipping and handling. Wow, that's amazing. Have you planted a tree yet? Have I planted a tree? Yeah. Like, what do you mean, at the ranch?
Okay. What they say here is that in order to fulfill your life, you have to plant a tree, write a book, and get married get married with your wife. So I think you've done the two of the three. 60 books. Wow, that's incredible.
And if anybody has any questions, you could just email me at moisesgarza@gmail.com, and I'll answer any questions that you may have about the conference.
Excellent.
Or at the website, you could just click contact us, enter your information there and your question, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Usually it takes me 24 hours or less to respond. And right there, you could just register. And we have 3 registration types. And the first one, it's the silver conference pass, which is $74.95. And we have the gold pass, which is the conference and archives pass for a limited time. Or you could even sign up for the yearly pass, where you get access to every single recording for the past 5 years.
Wow.
24/7 for the whole year, since the day that you sign up until you keep your membership current.
That's fantastic.
And that's it for the conference. What do you think about the speakers for this year?
You surprised me. I don't know where you find them and how they find you, but thank God that they are and you are, because you've got there, like I said, a jam-packed, quality conference speakers of exactly what we're looking for as genealogists, because I've been at this for such a long time that I think I know everything until something shows up that one of your speakers comes up with and talks about it, and I go like, "Wow, this is new." And seriously, you think you know everything, but you don't. There's so much more that we can learn from, and you have a bunch of conference speakers there that are excellent, just to fill in all those spots that you're missing.
And we got so many submissions that it was very difficult to choose the speakers. And
Wow.
there were presentations that I was like, oh my God, I really want to listen to that presentation. But unfortunately, due to the slots, which we only had available, like 12 slots available, right? Instead of the usual 24, it was very difficult to make a decision. And I emailed a lot of them like, hey, um, we're not going to be able to do it this conference, but keep us in mind for our next conference, because we really want to listen to this presentation.
Oh, excellent.
I just hope I don't offend people's feelings, but unfortunately, I wanted to have other speakers, but due to the slots, we couldn't. And we had some that submitted very late, and we were not able to choose them, because as we start getting this the submissions, we already start planning out like the rhythm of the conference. And due to some of them submitting very late, we were not able to provide a slot for them. So if you're a speaker or somebody, tell them to send those submission forms earlier. And anybody could submit to be a speaker. All you do, go to the conference website, scroll to the very bottom, and there's a little link there which says submit the presentation proposal. And then you see the rules that we have. And if you're still interested, you see how much we pay our speakers, which is like better than almost any other group pays them. You're going to be able to submit your ideas. And you don't have to be a professional genealogist. You don't have to be a professional speaker. As long as you have something to say,
Yeah, exactly.
and that'll benefit the community, go ahead and submit it.
It's the trials and tribulations of each individual, because we all have different brick walls or problems or confusion. So yes, you have a spectrum of people that fill in all the gaps of everybody. That's excellent.
And when and even if you have questions, like I'll even coach you a little bit, like tell you what to do, how to do it.
You're gonna be in trouble now.
How to even prepare your slides if you need help with that. I just want to develop new speakers. I remember when I started speaking, it's very hard for somebody to give me a chance because they had never heard me. So if you're new and you want to get into like the genealogy speaking field, let me know. And if you're a speaker, and if you're a member of the Weird Cousins community, you've seen me plaster or promoting our speakers everywhere. So other genealogy societies, other conferences, they're going to see you. So that's how a lot of our speakers have been getting more gigs for other conferences because they see them with us first. So it's an opportunity. And what other better way to help some members of the community by trying to help them, develop themselves into good speakers. And we need more. We need more Hispanics talking about Hispanic topics or Mexican Americans talking about Mexican American topics.
Excellent. That's excellent.
And I guess that's it about the conference. Hopefully you guys get to attend. And if you
if you can't attend personally and somebody who might be interested, pass the word. The word is also, you're helping someone else that maybe you can't assist, but they can. And this is helping somebody pay it forward, someone else might need and could use all the information and all the speakers that you're going to present to them and from here on in.
And this is by the Weird Cousins community for the Weird Cousins community. And it's unique. If you go to any other conference in the world, you're not going to have the same experience.
No, it's a hello, goodbye, and that's it. And you're lucky if you see the person afterwards, and even more lucky if you get a direct contact with them, like you said, email or a phone call.
For September of next year, I'm going to try and do 1 or 2 presentations myself, but I want to make them about certain ancestors.
Oh, okay.
On the certain ancestors that were early settlers of Nuevo León that most of us in the Weird Cousins community have as ancestors. And if you attend that conference, you're going to get a feeling. Once I talk about your ancestors and their family history, that hits you in the heart. You start feeling something that you haven't felt before when you hear somebody talk about your own ancestors. So, I'm going to start to try and do that for every conference so it could be a little bit more special for our community.
Oh, that's excellent. That's a really good idea.
But that was something I wasn't able to implement on this conference because of the lack of slots. But I'll probably talk about something on those lines during the keynote, the introduction, during the keynote presentation. And if you attend the keynote, be prepared to be there for probably 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
You know what? Maybe it could be like an addendum to the conference. You can do it after the conference and it's still included in the price of what you're doing, so you can shoot it off to them afterwards if you don't have the time.
It could be something like that. I could even talk about, well, remember I told you I don't know if I told the community, I wrote a blog post about it, Alonso de Leon and the project that my son had to do.
Oh, yes, that's right.
He came home, hey, Dad, I have to write a report or do a presentation on a famous historical figure in the history of Texas. And since he became a state or just any time period, any time period.
Well, he was mandated for Nuevo León, Coahuila, and southern Texas. So he had quite a nice chunk of area.
Yeah, so we decided to do it on his own ancestor, which was Alonso de Leon. We made a poster. And I did a timeline. And then guess what? Doing that timeline, I discovered that the Texas Online, there's this website called Texas Online. It's for history, and it has biographies of Tejanos. And then I checked what was on the website, and the research that I did using the research of Don Israel Cavazos Garza, which is more accurate because he used first-hand documents. And the Texas Online history, they used Bolton books, which Bolton, the dates and times are incorrect.
Oh.
So Don Israel Cavazos Garza's information is more accurate.
Oh, wow. As they say here, órale.
Because I saw the citations and they don't even reference Don Israel Cavazos Garza, who actually saw the primary documents. But that's something that us as family historians, if we come across, hey, we could I haven't done it, but I could easily send an email to Texas Online to try and fix that and send them the correct citations to Don Israel Cavazos Garza's work so they're able to fix it.
I say yes, do it.
In another instance where I found an error that's also on that particular website was with the Blas Maria de la Garza Falcon. I think they have I don't know if the parents of his wife wrong or something along those lines. But I gotta research it more, and I'm thinking even of doing some articles for the Las Vías del Norte journal and putting it there so other researchers could see my viewpoint, see my sources, and it's gonna be a peer-reviewed thing where they could actually go and like, hey, Moises, this is actually wrong or this is actually correct, and try and fix those things that we're finding online that are incorrect.
That's a good idea.
And I'm not saying that they're totally wrong. No, they're not. They're just using certain sources that may not be the best, because they haven't seen or don't have access to the other sources that we have. And that's very common in genealogy. Somebody may have something wrong on a family tree because they haven't seen the same sources that you have, or vice versa. You may have something wrong because you haven't seen what the other person has access to, and that's why the sources are very important in our research.
Yeah, and sometimes the names are duplicated and triplicated, and so they may go down one of the triple or doubles that's not the actual person, and they document all that information and think that that's it because they followed the name exactly, and it turns out that it's maybe a cousin or a friend that has a family that has the same names.
And like I tell everybody, hey, all my books are resources. Like they're tools to be used.
Yes.
But am I 100% accurate? No, I'm not 100% accurate. And if you see something that doesn't quite fit or seems out of place, you could shoot me an email and I'm not going to get offended. Just provide me the source that you're looking at.
Exactly.
And we'll try and work out what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
I never get offended if somebody corrects my work. I'm actually thankful because, hey, that's something that I missed.
Listen, even the professionals make mistakes, like Luis Carvajal de la Cueva here in Monterrey. For years in the history books, they had information that was incorrect. And we interviewed Carlos Gonzalez on he's the historian and chronological person of San Pedro here. And do you remember he wrote a book? He went to Spain and he stayed there for 3 or 4 months, and he went from birthplace to where he studied, where he got into business with his uncles, all the way to Mexico, and then all the way up to here to Monterrey. And he wrote a book about it, and the information is in his book, and all what they're showing and teaching the kids is incorrect. We're in that right now, trying to get them to change it.
And it's very important to, as we discover now, the age of the internet, we have so much access to a lot of stuff that other researchers didn't have in the past. Like I was saying, Bolton, right? He wrote his books in the early 1900s. Now,
wow,
that's why there may be problems. He probably had a copy of a copy, didn't have access to the primary one, or whatever reason it may be, right?
Or the lack of traveling to the place of birth or where they grew up and where they did their livelihood. It's a whole bunch of things that nowadays you just go into the internet and you're all over the world.
And you have Bernabé Las Casas probably as an ancestor too, right?
Yes.
But Carlos Adrián Casas Ortega wrote a book titled Historia y Genealogía de la Familia Casas en el Norte de México, de la época novohispana a la época contemporánea, 1511-1940. And if you're listening to this podcast and if you want a copy of this book, just type in, go to weirdcousins.info on the search bar, just enter Bernabé de las Casas history, and you're going to be able to download his ebook. He made it available for anybody to download. But you know,
Wow.
Bernabé Las Casas, I've come across documents for him, but it's just a fraction of what Carlos has been able to research and the documents that he has able to find,
He
that he
dedicated
was able
himself
to
to it.
write, you know, a book that's over 200 pages just about the history of the Casas family.
That's
You
great.
know, and on Las Villas del Norte, we have over 21,000 confirmed descendants of Bartolomé de las Casas.
Wow. Oh my God. Wow.
You know, but he discovered a lot of new information, primary documents that I had no access to. So, like, if I need to know something about Bernabé Las Casas, well, he's the go-to person, you know?
Wow. Yeah, unbelievable.
Well,
Thank God for
Willister,
people like you and him.
well, thank you for that. But, you know, Willister, I think that's it for this podcast. Do you have any parting words?
No, just that you know, as you mentioned, and I think it's a strong word and the accurate word. Your conference is a tool. It's a tool with a lot of extra tools, which are the conference speakers, and it's got a wealth of information, sources and contacts that you can keep forever after the show, after the conference. You can keep because you make contact with them directly. You can talk to them at the same time. I mean, that's something that really you should look into. And as I mentioned before, if you can't go personally, if you can't visit Zoom and the conference personally, and you know someone who might be interested, pass it along. Let them know. They'll thank you for it later.
Well, thank you for that, Willister. And once again, I want to thank you all for listening to us and for being a part of the Weird Cousins community. And if you haven't joined the Facebook group, go ahead and join the Facebook group. Just search for Weird Cousins, and we're there. Network with other primos and primas, and see you either at the conference or on our next podcast. You know, and
One way or another.
you could watch the podcast on YouTube or just listen to it on your favorite listening device on your cell phone or tablet or wherever. Once
Correct.
again, thank you and see you all.
Peace.
And that's it for our podcast. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation. And also, I want to thank Las Villas del Norte once again for sponsoring this show. And encourage you to go visit Las Villas del Norte at lasvillasdelnorte.com. Remember, Las Villas del Norte provides the same benefits that a genealogical society does, but on a digital platform. They have newsletters, monthly video presentations, and a lot of other great stuff. Please go ahead and visit them. And thank you. Until the next time. Thank you for listening to the Weird Cousins podcast, a podcast dedicated to South Texas and Northeastern Mexico genealogy.